On today's episode, we welcome Korede Oludiran, CEO of Echo Oscar. Korede, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So let's talk about your business, what inspired you to launch it, and where it comes from.
All right, so I'll go back a little bit. So I've been a project manager for well over 15 years now,
Okay.
and in the course of my work, I get to interact a lot with businesses, with processes, with teams,
Mm,
and I always see the need for process improvement within organizations, within teams. So
mm.
that was the main reason I started Echo Oscar because I see the need for it, and I wanted to provide the solution to organization in that space. Yes.
Nice. And you said you've been along in the
Project management space, project management, process improvement, change management.
okay,
That's where I've always worked for well over 15 years.
okay,
And like I said, I started Echo Oscar in 2022 to
okay.
yes, to fill that need that I often see in teams, in organizations. There's
Hmm.
always need for process improvement. There's always need for better collaboration amongst teams. And that's what led to me creating starting the organization to cater to that need.
Okay. So you basically help people like communicate better, build communication between them, or build skill set. What does the business bring to other business?
So what we'll bring to the businesses is working along with the businesses
Okay.
to to optimize their processes. It could be marketing process, it could be operations, it could be IT processes.
Okay.
Each of the domain or any of the domain of any organization, of course, supports the business.
Hmm.
Um, Definitely benefit from better processes. And because businesses are always changing, the demands of customers are always changing, technologies are always changing, government regulations are always changing.
Hmm.
Therefore, you would have need to change how you do things. Now we
Hmm.
have AI everywhere. So organizations are changing, they're transforming, incorporating AI into their processes, and that would involve some change management activity so that people can accept the new norm and people can start to adopt, and run with it. Because oftentimes the problem or the challenges comes with the people side of things. You can have the best of applications, the best of ERPs. If people do not really adopt it well enough, you cannot get the ROI for which that ERP was implemented.
Hmm. And I think is your because you just talked about marketing, IT, you bring different solution in different industries. As your role in your business, do you implement those or do you mostly consult or mostly decision maker? What's your role in your business related to all that?
We do first the consultation part to see a need assessment
Yeah.
of where what are the needs of the organization of a team. And depending on what the solutions will be, we can definitely implement.
Okay.
However, when we don't have the capacity for it, we work with third party um, organizations or businesses to do the implementation. And while we do that, also we do quality assurance
Mhm.
and change management, like I mentioned earlier, it's a core part of our product as well. Because it's one thing, like I said, to implement is another thing for people to adopt. So
Mhm.
we've got in-house um, certified change management expert. We've got business analysts. We've got, of course, project managers. So we guide the process from the business case to adoption to hypercare post implementation support and continuous improvement of such implementation so that it becomes embedded in the culture of organizations we work with.
Hmm. And your roles in that, is it just deciding who you're gonna work with? What's your role in the business as the CEO? Do you just make the decision or do you implement stuff or
Oh, I see. Well, I'm both the CEO and the
yeah.
principal consultant. So I still do
Okay.
the hands-on work
Yeah.
as well as product development on our
Okay.
side, as well as, of course, client engagement. I'm
Yeah.
still the chief marketing officer
Yeah, yeah.
as the CEO of the organization. So I get involved in those spaces. Yes.
Okay. And how many of a team you guys are around?
We're a small team of about of 5 people.
Nice.
However, we have a large roster of partners that
Yeah.
work with us, depending on the industry or on
Mhm.
the client or the need for the business we're implementing.
Hmm. And do you mostly aim at small, medium businesses? What kind of businesses you made at helping usually?
Our focus is growth stage organizations
Okay.
that have passed through, that first 5 years, and they have passed through the chaotic stage of process management. They now have a basic process management um structure
Hmm.
in place, but they need it to be more established, more
Hmm.
defined, so that it can help them go to the next level. Yes.
I understand. So in those business that you're helping in general, what are like the biggest shift that you saw in the last like 15 years that you worked in the industry? What is it, mostly tech? Is it mostly like the culture? Like what is it that changed a lot in those businesses?
Okay, well, I want to believe you don't mean changes. So 15 years is too long a time
Yeah.
to look at changes.
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
can talk about changes in the last 2, 3, 5 years.
Yeah.
The major area of change that we see in it's basically generative AI.
Yeah.
Of course, there are some organizations that are a good number of organizations that are incorporating agentic AI, but
Hmm.
generative AI is very key.
Hmm.
And a lot of organizations are transitioning into incorporating it into their processes.
Hmm.
At first, a lot of organizations and employees were a bit not very welcoming of it, but now there's nothing we can do about it. AI has come to stay, and it
Hmm.
has come to make our life easier and better, and it's to make the most of it that is important now for everyone. So, so that's the major area, and organizations that are able to quickly take advantage of it are the ones that are gonna have that competitive advantage to perform in their space, in their industry.
So do you see those businesses kind of understanding AI, or they're really still at the stage where they don't even understand it, they don't really know how to use it? What does it look like for the industries with AI?
I would say on individual level, for individual employee level, people sort of have understanding of what AI can do for them, and they're actually taking advantage of it.
Okay.
However, enterprise-wide, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done.
Mm.
Yes, so that we can collaborate enterprise-wise. We can, for instance, you can use AI for content generation, document analysis,
Mhm.
data analysis, a wide range of things.
Mm.
So if we are working together, for instance, and we're able to leverage AI for our data analysis or document analysis, and we're on the same page, it's easier for us to achieve our goals than I'm running towards this side and the other person is a little bit traditional. So that space and getting people to truly accept it and adopt and start to adopt it is where a lot of organizations I feel, I believe, or I see as are struggling with.
Hmm.
Yes.
And do you see them being more open-minded toward AI or being more scared of it on the business side?
The 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 acceptance has greatly increased in the last
Oh
one
yeah.
year.
Okay.
It has greatly increased in the last one year.
Huh.
However, it's of course companies, for instance, are considering the risk factors associated with it, which must be put in place.
Hmm.
They're also considering the how the biasness or the bias, sorry, that could come with AI, because
Hmm.
AI is not cannot do everything for you, right?
No.
There's always that human in the loop
Mhm.
approach to it, so that you don't leave everything to AI. Even when it's agentic, sometimes people still try to not even try to. An agentic AI, you're training it every time so that it can perform better for you than it performed today, tomorrow than it performed today. So there's always that need to train the AI to give it feedback, to review document, to review its product or its result so they can get the best out of it. Yes.
Hmm. And what kind of AI do you see business kind of wanting right now? Is it more admin work? Is it more data reading? Is it more document reading? What kind of AI are they asking?
I would say data analysis is
Okay.
very key because it makes life so easy.
Yeah.
You can populate your whatever tool you're using. I don't want to mention tools, with different data from different sources.
Hmm.
And you can, like I said, you keep training it over time. It can have historical information about specific area, about your organization, or about a particular domain you want to look at, and
Hmm.
it's able to give you results that are peculiar to your organization,
Hmm.
or to your team, if you like. So yeah, that's where. So I yes, that's it.
Hmm. And as because you're kind of new in the business of like consulting and getting all that tech with AI, how do you guys like stay on top of it? Do you always keep in mind like the new AI? Because like AI basically has a new AI every freaking week, we could say. The new. So how do you guys keep like on top of it to understand which one is the best for the businesses?
Okay, so there is it's hard to say which is the best for
Hmm.
any business. It depends on the need of an organization.
Yeah.
However, we expose ourselves to a lot of AI tools, and not only that, we expose ourselves to AI transitions and strategies.
Hmm.
In our team, it's part of our goals for each individual in the team to get trained in AI transition and strategy, AI tools, get familiar with them. So we kind of have that broad knowledge of them. So when we do a need analysis, we're able to tell this is where this organization is, this is what they might be needing, this is what they have the capacity to, the resources to purchase. um, we would always side often we would always side with buying over building. Uh, yeah, building has a lot of work that go into it, and it could be a bit complicated.
Yeah.
So most of the off-the-shelf applications are really good.
Hmm.
And like any application, there's always the risk of exposing your information.
Yeah.
However, there are also those security level that you must put in place, right? There are certain information you don't want to share with AI, for instance, if they're proprietary to you, so that they don't get out there. So
Hmm.
yes. So, but if there are basic information that anybody can perhaps Google, can research to know, it's not a big deal to share with AI and use them to further train your tool.
Hmm. And in your past experience with like businesses, because we are talking a lot about AI, but like, do you see the conversation about the tech or the AI being better than focus on people and process? Or would you think it's the opposite where you should probably focus more on people to process to get more ROI into your business or get the better growth?
Oh, I see. It's always the people and the
Really?
process. It's
Okay.
always people and process, because you can have, like I said, you can have a very fantastic application, it's fantastic tool. If people do not adopt, if people do not collaborate well using those tools, you won't get the ROI for which you implemented it. So it's always the people, it's always the acceptance, the adoption from people, and embedding it in your culture. Because every organization has their culture, have their strategic goal.
Mhm.
How well or how much of AI you use is a function of what your strategic goals are. And you also want to be careful that we heard in the news about a month or two ago of one of the big fours did a did a project for Australia, and they they made use of AI, and certain things were not, I guess they didn't do a lot of the human in the loop,
Mm.
yes, assessment to be able to, remove some things, to show. But look, every organization, every big organization is using AI, but
Mm.
you have to use it, in a way um, that is not, I wouldn't say illegal, but it's ethical.
Okay.
Yes, it's ethical and of course does not take away the core of the organization. Yes.
And it would mostly just be there as a tool and not as replacing a human in a position. Because like
Exactly.
I feel like a lot of people will think like I can just put an AI there and it's gonna do everything without even propping it or no one's to like look at it. And then they'll get information from it and it's like, oh, like those information are like really bad when you actually put like a tech guy looking at it or like someone
Yeah,
admin that look at what it's doing. It's like, no, that's really not good what it's doing. So it's always more of a tool than like a replacement where people think
exactly.
it's like the opposite. And
Exactly. Good
you
question.
talked about go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Go
No,
ahead.
this is how I see AI. I mean, before now, humans didn't have vehicles. We didn't have, planes and all that. We were
Hmm.
living and we thought, oh, we were making the most of what we had. But now
Yep.
we have them, and humans are still, thriving, are still surviving, right? So it's one of those um innovations that have come to stay,
Hmm.
and they would make life better for us as humans.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not gonna destroy us like everyone think it's gonna be.
Well, I can say
Not now.
there's that potential that there is
Yeah.
there's what we call the super intelligence,
Yeah.
where AI becomes too intelligent and then start to want to control us.
Mhm.
That potential is there. However, the regulators and governments have to put things in place to make sure such do not happen.
Absolutely. So coming back, you talk a lot about culture into businesses. How do you implement that going into a business? How do you bring that to a business that doesn't have one? Like what are the pillars, not the pillars, the structure of like what you bring it to that business so they can actually create a culture into their businesses?
Well, thing is, every business has their culture,
Yep.
whether defined or not defined, or they just dabble into it. There's their
Mm.
culture. However, whenever you change something in your process, in your policy, in your organization, it affects how there's a way people will respond to it, and
Mm-hmm.
that would create new cultures.
Okay.
So, or, that will shift your culture a bit, not create new culture, shift your culture a bit. However, you want to be proactive as to what this is what we need these changes to do with our culture, and then we're going to make sure we put those changes in our culture rather
Mm-hmm.
than being reactive. Now, even when you do that, people could also react because, okay, let's say for instance we implemented a new application, let's say an ERP, right? People need to change how they do their CRM of operations, for instance. Approval flow changes, everything changes, right? Perhaps the way some things were happening within a department, now they're cross-functional.
Mm-hmm.
Now think how people would react will change, how people would work would change. So you then put in place trainings, you put in place incentive to make people use the new processes, you put in place recurring communication
Mm-hmm.
to get everybody on board in the new process. However, and then you're measuring, you have metrics you're measuring. Over time, people could also gain the metrics to say, okay, this is what you're checking. How well I perhaps communicate with the other team, you know, so they can still game it and show they're communicating, right? Meanwhile, they're not really communicating how you want them to communicate, or they're not using the system the way you want them to use them. So there's always the need for continuous improvement,
Mm-hmm.
always going back and seeing how is a cycle. How are we doing? What do we plan to have? And sometimes you want to also review your metrics, you want to also review your goals to
Mm-hmm.
see if they're still relevant today. And so that's how we and then we put in place continuous improvement strategies for organizations so that they can run with it, and they have change champions within the organization, within different domains, different departments, so they can guide the rest of the team towards that goal that the organization has.
And is that talk usually come from the CEO where they have to have the goals and all the vision to like be able to pass it down to the directors or managers and then pass it down to the employees?
Absolutely. In any change management endeavor, the
Mm,
the management are very key. The
mm,
management is always very key in such. So a major strategy is to get them to, get their buy-in. Sometimes I've seen where implementation is actually piloted first with management. So the management gets used to a new implementation, and then it cascades down,
Hmm.
especially sometimes in the civil service. So that when the top management director upward start to, adopt the new approach or the new process, it's easier for them to then champion it with the rest of the team. Yes.
Hmm. Okay, so it's always start from the top and then it's just communication and basically getting to pass absolutely like the process or the new tool and actually understand and train on that before just give it to people and say you go with it.
Exactly, exactly. So every stakeholder, it doesn't have to be top management alone. Every stakeholder, everyone that your change can affect or can be affected by is very important in a change management process in a project implementation endeavor. Yes.
Nice. So for your business, what's working like well right now as of like deliverability? Maybe clients are just coming in easily. What's going well for Eco Oscar right now?
Oh, what I would say is going well is we're gaining a lot of traction, especially with our AI and transformation and change management product. We're getting a lot of traction mainly from the health and industry and government space.
Okay.
Because yes, that's what is working for us. And I guess that's why I kept talking about the AI transformation and strategies and all. Yes.
How did you get traction in those industry? Did you like market or did you just do organic or it's just people you knew? How did you get those connections?
Well, we, I think, well, it's still marketing, but it's
Okay.
more organic from
Mm.
our the people we know.
Okay.
From network we create every now and then. We try as much as possible to network,
Mhm.
and yes, and put ourselves out there. Yes.
Nice. So that's pretty good. Are those like new programs that are starting soon, or what was your clientele before those?
Oh well. I would there are no new programs. That would be the new program. Our
Okay.
clientele before then was more. Okay, sometime last year we did a new survey, a new market survey that revealed to us a major area of need of organizations, which
Okay.
is though it confirmed what I'd always known.
Hmm.
Yes, which is mainly in collaboration
Okay.
as employees about what areas of their processes would they like to see improvement in. Majority mentioned team collaboration and communication.
Mm.
They mentioned training as well. That was a surprise to me because I thought that maybe Canada, a lot of people in Canada haven't trained. Then I actually remember that truly the trainings could actually be on your LMS, but people really have time to take them because you're involved in one project or the other. You don't have enough time to go for some training. So a lot of Canadians want to be trained more, you
Hmm.
know, on the job. And of course, time management is another area. So for the
Hmm.
time management, we see AI transformation strategy as a major, product to cater for that. For team collaboration and communication, we develop actually an 8 model team collaboration training that we can make available to companies and staff can take them on at their pace. Yes, at their pace, and of course, that also speaks to the training need of the Canadian corporate space.
Hmm. And going on the opposite side for the business, what's the big challenges of the business right now?
Well, the big challenges I would say is, I mean, which comes with any kind of business, right?
Hmm.
It's you do a lot of outreach.
Yeah.
Yes, you have to do a lot of outreach before you're able to get to convert a lead.
Hmm.
Uh, yes, and yes, that's it. I don't want to say no more.
So
We're pushing,
that,
irrespective of the fact that I am the CEO and I come from like a minority group.
mhm.
We're I would say we're still achieving some success. Yes.
Okay. So you'd say marketing or outreach would be like some of the challenges. So basically just lead generation as. pretty much every business need.
Yes, lead generation, I would say more of conversion.
Okay.
Both, because the more leads you have, right, the more
Yeah.
the higher chances of converting, right? So yes,
Absolutely. Unless your sales team is like so poor or not as trained, then you can have all the leads you want. Then the sales team need to be super good to be able to close those deals. Is
exactly.
there anything you tried as an outreach? Like did you try like Facebook ads, marketing, like cold
Oh
email?
yeah, we've tried a couple of things and some of them failed, I must
Yeah.
say. But I don't want to mention company names, but we've tried
No,
some
no.
others that never really worked for us.
Okay.
However, we've come to realize that leveraging the network we have
Mhm.
is a great way to go about our marketing. So we're leveraging the network we have a great deal, yes.
Would you say there's because I know you're from Ottawa and I'm from Gatineau. Is there a good network batch in Ottawa, Gatineau on the industry side that is good or is big enough? Because we always a lot of people say like Ottawa is more like federal people, government working. So how's the like networking space here?
It is good, actually.
It is
Of
good. Okay.
course, Canada is quite has a lot of government,
Mm-hmm.
entities. However, there is still the private sector. We, of course, we're serving the government, we're serving health industry, we're serving IT and IT services. Those are our three main focus industries.
Mm-hmm.
So, and of course, education, we have some leads with some universities as well,
Nice.
University of Ottawa, for instance. So yes, it's not, I mean, people try to say that Ottawa Gatineau is sort of very relaxed,
Mm-hmm.
but there we still see the billions flying around. So it's
Yeah.
about knowing how to put yourself in a strategic location, and then you're gonna get what you're looking for. Yes.
Nice. So in the next year coming up, because it's December pretty much in a month, what's the big goals in the 6 to 12 month period for Eco Oscar? So basically 2026.
Yeah. So for next year, we're not focusing. We're looking at spreading our tentacles to some countries in Africa.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're looking at that. We're working on that currently.
Okay.
And adoption level of AI, for instance,
Hmm.
in Africa is not as much as we have here in
Yeah.
North America. So we want to, position ourselves to be able to take advantage of that market as much
Mhm.
as we can before it gets saturated.
Okay. How do you reach people in Africa? Is it still cold email or the way you push in your ads and how do you aim at Africa
Well,
businesses?
more organic, and then we're looking at governments actually. So
Okay.
more organic, the contacts we have in Africa
Okay.
and exploring them. Yes, it's more of that, and then yes, than anything else.
Nice. So would you say your contract are mostly like government based and not really private based?
No, we can't say mostly. No,
No? Okay.
no, we can't say mostly. They're yes, they can say mostly.
Okay. Because the way I understand it, I feel like you mostly work with like government and like maybe more public space and you're maybe aiming more at that. So that's why I was just curious on like what was the one or the other. So what's the big challenges of starting with Africa? Is there different like regulation or is there different ways to work with them? Like what's the big challenges of working over there?
There are no big challenges that are unsurmountable. The only difference with what we have in North America is basically their own regulations. So
Yeah.
we only need to familiarize ourselves with the regulations there. And
Hmm.
I started my career back in Nigeria, so
Okay.
I'm not new to the space. I've implemented for government before.
Hmm.
I've implemented some ERPs for in the government space and also the private sector as well. So I'm pretty I'm not I'm pretty familiar with the space, so I'm able to use that as a leverage. Yes.
Hmm. Nice. So before we close, for the listeners who wants to learn maybe more about your business or get in contact with you, what's the best way they can reach you?
Oh, thank you. You can reach us on LinkedIn. you can search for Echo Oscar Inc. on LinkedIn, you'll see us there. And of course, you can reach me directly, Korede Oludiran on LinkedIn as well. My except if and you can email us by at info@echooscar.com. Info@echooscar.com.
Perfect. So, Kareg, thanks again for your time. That was an
Thank you
amazing
so much, Max.
conversation.
It's nice chatting with you today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.